stay filling. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay filling. It's BV, it's BV, BV, it's BV,
Yeah.
it's BV, it's BV, it's BV, it's BV.
It's BV and Jellified, Jimmy Beam and Bly. Reaching highest where we reach, yo, as high as to the stars. Beats in the villain Jeep, vibrating other cars. Whose world is this? Yo, we say the world is ours. So we grow beards, no fear, photos so clear. Take another shot, so to speak, yeah, more beer. BV worldwide, put a fist to the sky. Cheers, cheers, New Year's, dope rhyme, good vibes. My crew speaks power, Chi-Town bleeds power. Knowledge, wisdom, and truth in the final hour. Respect, loyalty, family, charity speaks power. Here the village brotherhood speaks honor. Forwards and onwards, stay villain to the end. I will never shave again because my beard is not a trend. I represent excellence, leadership, and never follow. I'm a BBC member, yo, lieutenant of Chicago.
One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay filling. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay filling. It's BV, 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 it's BV.
Yo, all I see.
Oh, look at that. I was muted. Hey, and welcome. Happy Friday night, guys. Good evening and good morning to anybody overseas. Hello and welcome to The Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the bearded villains worldwide brotherhood and the lives they are changing all over the world. And man, it is a different feeling this week. This is episode 59, guys. Episode 59, and things are just super chill here today. I ran into roadblock after roadblock this week, trying to set some things up for interviews and different things, and I've got some people on my list that I try to go down my list and try and set things up, and I try not to do too many people in the same area right next door to each other. There's a whole method to my madness here. And so when push came to shove at the end of this week, as this week kind of got into Thanksgiving and everything else, I just said, you know what? We're just going to have a short podcast this week. We're going to call this one the short one. We're going to call this one the short one. Now, I knew I couldn't go without having the podcast tonight. I knew that somebody, Rob, Hillbilly, somebody would be here to give me a bunch of hell if I wasn't here. And so I absolutely needed to be here just to say hi to those of you who are always here to support the podcast. But, it's funny. I usually feel so organized and ready to go. And something about this week, it kind of took me by surprise. And I don't know if it's because I was so jazzed about last week's episode. Last week, those of you who had not listened to it, go back and listen to last week's episode. It was the longest podcast we've had so far, but in many ways, it was probably the most in-your-face, awakening type of a interview. And I didn't really have to do much for it. I just asked a few questions, and our bro skipped, man. He just took off with it. And it's after a week like that, and then coming into a holiday week where we're doing a lot of stuff. I don't know, Thanksgiving here in the U.S., but it's a different time because due to COVID and everything else, those rising numbers that are going back up again, kids are now starting to come back into the virtual world, less in-person stuff going on. So both of my kids that are in school still went back to virtual this week. So everything was back here at the house, and everything's going to be back in the house next week. And it just, then you roll it into Thanksgiving weekend, and you roll it into Black Friday, and then my wife was working from the house most of this week, and last week, and it's just it just feels different. It was like, and believe it or not, it got to a point where I was just like, what am I going to do? You know what? I'm really not going to push myself to try and create something for the podcast for this week. After my first few attempts to get something set up interview wise had fallen through, and it's nothing against the people that I was trying to reach out to. Things happen in life, and it's not always going to work out. That's why I try to schedule things out a little bit in advance. But so here I am on Black Friday, which is what some people call it. Mistake Friday, bad decision Friday. That's kind of what I like to say. Bad decision Friday, because, after Thanksgiving weekend here after Thanksgiving here in the States, it's like you chances are you ate too much the day before on Thanksgiving. Chances are you may have drank too much. Drinking's not a word. Well, anyway, drank too much. But that wasn't the case so much for me, but you just kind of felt lethargic all day today. And there was a time where here in the States, when we did Black Friday, that I would, back before we had kids, that I would go out and enjoy the calamity that everything was, that it was for Black Friday. I haven't done that in over 20 years now. And it's kind of nice. So now everything's virtual. Now everything's here at home. Now we're doing all the purchases online, and we haven't even hit the online shopping day on Monday that's supposed to be, because everything's been doing everything online. So, I'm in a weird spot right now, guys, because no guest, no real topics to talk about other than the fact that I'm thankful for everybody being here. I'm thankful for this brotherhood. I'm thankful for every one of you guys who have made a decision to help other people, to change people's lives for the better and make a difference in other people's lives. Hillbilly, you and Rob are amazing. You guys are always here. When there's other people here that don't chime in, I understand it. They don't want to announce themselves. That's all fine and well. And I knew that this being Black Friday here in the States, I don't know. Does everybody else have like what is Black Friday here in the States? We're all hopped up on consumerism here in the States, so I don't know. Is that something that other countries even have? That they have a day that's what you would call Black Friday, or your version of Black Friday? I don't know. Do they have that over in the UK? I don't know. I'm curious. But it's on a day like today, I didn't figure on too many people being here live tonight on a Friday. Number one, it's Friday. Number two, it's started to get cold in parts of the country that it really hadn't gotten cold the last few days. So everybody's kind of hunkering back down, getting ready for the weekend, still celebrating with the weekend times and doing all that stuff. And so we here I am with very, very little to talk about. You do have Black Friday. Is your Black Friday today or yesterday for you guys? Is that a thing for you guys then, or is it later in the year? I'm curious if that's the case. But yeah, we have adopted Black Friday. Now it runs all of November. Listen to Rob. We have adopted Black Friday from the USA. Hey, we love that. Hey, Alexa is now chiming in to tell me somebody's at my door. So I'm apparently probably getting a package delivery right now upstairs from, whoops. I don't know what that's all about. So I'm probably getting a package delivery because the dogs are going nuts upstairs. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully the boys can figure that out. The teenage boys upstairs. They'll figure it out. So guys, I thought to myself, just give myself a break for the night and say, nah, we're not going to have a podcast tonight. This is going to be a surprise. This is going to be a surprise for everybody that listens in the audio form, because those of you who are listening in the audio format right now, you're going to be disappointed, because this is going to be like the 11-minute podcast today, including the countdown or including the intro, because I don't have anything else to talk about. And I don't want to just drone on. But what I do want to do is thank everybody in this brotherhood, everybody that supports this brotherhood, everybody that has been here for this podcast and supporting everything that we do as villains. Thank you personally. On a personal note, I want to say thank you to everybody who has come out and shared support for me and my new chapter, Bearded Villains Northern Indiana, and for our recent logo release. Since it's my show, I'll mention that. But I do want to say thank you to that. That's it's always nerve-wracking, I think, when you share something like that and you come out with something new. But the reception that we've received so far has been awesome. So thank you guys very much for welcoming us and our future logo and everything else that we are going to be about. Guys, that's all I got for you. I want to challenge everybody here to go out. I'm not even going to do an ad for today. This episode doesn't deserve an ad, to be honest. I want to encourage everybody just to go out there and continue to do what you're doing. We're winding down the last few weeks of 2020. No, the COVID thing's not going to be over right at the turn of the mark on December 31st and January 1st. We're still going to be having these issues come January 1st. But I just have a feeling that 2021 is going to be a much better year, and we're going to be able to get back to doing a lot of the stuff that we want to do and being able to share in the brotherhood that we have and just hang out and chill and talk about how incredibly terrible of a year it has been this year. Next year, we're going to be able to do that. Share some drinks and good times and talk about what it was like for us to have all of our holidays in COVID and everything that we missed out on this year. So next week, guys, I will have a full-on podcast episode for you. This week has just been kind of a downer, just an energy downer, really. But not necessarily in a bad way. I think every once in a while we need that. You know that I've been incredibly open about how things feel and different things like that over the years. And if you've known me at all, and I'm the first one to shout from the rooftops and talk about positivity and being a positive influence on other people's lives. But it just felt this week that it needed to be one of those moments. You know what I'm talking about? We just needed to chill and just relax. This is the week where we're going to close our eyes. Where we're just going to close our eyes and relax. If you're exercising while listening to this podcast, I apologize. But we just want to take it down a little bit and relax a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Just relax. We're going to have an amazing 2021. And the month of December is going to be here before we know it. You know, ironically, I don't know if it was on the podcast or if it was in some other format where somebody suggested to me that I needed to start looking into creating a bedtime stories podcast. That's something that it might be in the works before too long. By the end of this year, maybe. If that's something that you think might interest somebody you know, feel free to reach out and let me know that that's something that you think would be a good thing. I might just create 2 or 3 episodes of that, and if it doesn't take off, I'll just discontinue. But this year has been strange. So what better time to try something new? And I think a podcast devoted to calm and soothing voices might be one to take advantage of. So, guys, thank you guys so much for everything you do to support this podcast. We are just under 15 minutes now. That's about 12 minutes longer than I thought I would get out of this. So, guys, I'm just going to wrap this thing up and let you guys go to bed. All right, guys. The shortest episode in the history of this podcast, but that's how we do it. We're always keeping you on your toes. Next week's going to be a full episode, but this will wrap up episode 59, the shortest episode in the history of the podcast. Remember, you can still buy shirts, patches, pins, all that good stuff. heartofavillain.simplecast.com. I want to challenge you guys, as I always say, to remember, see, the timing of it even throws me off. We're going to try this one more time. We're going to come back up in here. We're going to do this again. Because, man, I want to challenge you guys to be the villain that the world needs you to be. Because the heart of a villain never stops beating. As I always say, guys, this is a very pivotal time of the year, and it's very difficult for those who do suffer from depression. So if you are hurting, please remember these words. It's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. So for now, have a great weekend. Enjoy the week ahead. Take care and stay safe. Good night from the heart of a villain. Go get your sleep on. Good night.
Don't get it twisted like contortionists in close quarters. My crew has more heads than peeps cleaning up on borders. When Blah, Jelly, and I, we come together, transformers.